It may actually go beyond just relating on a
superficial
basis.
There's the adage that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
There are some of us who are not very good at regular visit, but because they are friends,
you have to,
in order to maintain that friendship.
The emotional state of the parents is usually directly proportional to the emotional state of
the children.
Hello viewers, welcome again to your favorite family show. I know it's your favorite family show, The Living Room, right here on Ekwa TV International. I'm here with Mrs. Ibe Namo, yes, and myself, Amaka Ucheke. The last number of episodes we've been talking about preparing for marriage, and it's been dragging and dragging. That shows that there's a lot to prepare for in marriage, and apparently, as we were discussing before we came on set, it's apparent that we cannot discuss every single thing. But our desire is that we point you in the right direction. Whether you're the one getting married, or your children are getting married, or you have friends that are getting married, we point you in the right direction. I've said many things about getting married, the things people, intending couples should have been talking about, the things they should have been doing together, praying together, studying the Word of God together, discussing serious life issues, and not just doing things that will be people will be doing. Oh, what's that people do? You know, things that are of no value
to the marriage
yes, in the long term. And to remember that this is a marriage that should be for life. At least the dead do us part. That's what the Word of God says. And the things we do before then will impact on how the marriage turns out at the end of the day. Now, one of the things we want to discuss today, which we have not talked about, I don't think we've really talked about it in the last 6 episodes, is the issue of the tests people need to do before the wedding and the implications. Maybe we've raised the issues of the test, but the implications. So let's start with one by one. HIV screening. And I think some of these tests, you should do them early. I don't think you should wait till the week of the wedding to do these tests. Let's start doing them early so that we can have proper discussions on the implications of these tests and whether we want to go ahead with the wedding. If we are going to get married, what do we do about them? So let's talk about HIV. I think recently somebody even came to ask my opinion. The person she wants to marry is HIV positive, and she's still wondering what to do. Should she go on? Should she not go? But he told her ahead of time. He knew he was HIV positive, and he told her, which is what some people do not do. You know you're HIV positive and you be pretending or lying, or I hear some people even go to a lab and pay them to give them a positive, a negative result. So if the person you want to marry is HIV positive, what do you do?
First of all, I think you need to know. You need to make sure that you know that this person is HIV positive or is not. And if you are the one who is HIV positive, you should make it known. Don't keep anything like that in secret. If the person is still going to go ahead with the wedding, that would be the person's decision. But do not keep such information away from somebody you are planning to get married to. And then again, you get HIV test and you are positive, or the person you want to get married is positive, married to is positive. I think you need to think about it deeply. You need to think of the effect now and the effect long term. It's not, you know, sometimes we talk about this. I love this person. Oh, I love the person. Oh, love is not just enough. There's much more than love that you need to consider when you are planning to get married. So, as you plan to get married, you should look at this issue, especially this issue of HIV. If any of you is HIV positive, you should discuss it. You should ask for honest opinion from medical experts. What can happen in the future concerning the both of you. And it is so that when you are taking a decision, you are taking a decision from an informed position, not just taking a decision on emotions. Oh, if I don't marry her, who else can I marry? If I don't marry him, who else can I marry? See, if you take decision based on that, you're going to live the rest of your life regretting. So it is better to take decision, ask for therapy, ask for medical experts opinion, and then with all the facts that you have available to you, you can make a decision.
Okay, let me put in a little more perspective to it as medical point of view. Okay, now with the advent of antiretroviral drugs, HIV is hardly killing anybody, except those who refuse to take their drugs religiously the way they should. And that will now cause resistance and things like that. But if people are taking their drugs regularly, they are going for checkup and follow-up regularly, the viral load, that's the quantity or the concentration of the virus in their blood, usually go down many times to undetectable levels, so that when you won't find, you know, the virus in quotes in that quantity. And so that means that the risk of transmission becomes very low. I won't say it's 0%. I won't say that, but the risk of transmission is very minimal for their partners. So that's how it is. And more so, somebody was asking that she heard that women are more likely to get it from men. Yes, because of the women's physiological and anatomical makeup. But if the person is taking drugs, their drugs religiously, they are going for follow-up, the chances of transmission is very, very slim. The challenge is when people refuse to take their drugs. That's where the problem is. So you should have that at the back of your mind. Yes, and have that conversation, and maybe even go with the person to the healthcare provider that they are seeing to see what the risks are. I know people, I know a couple of people who marry people who are HIV positive. They are negative, and they are still negative till date. But they had that conversation. The person told them, and they were able to research. And I even asked one man, I said, why did you marry somebody who is HIV positive? And he laughed. He said, I love her now. And but they've been doing okay. But I think the important thing is that you put the information out there, and we can have an honest discussion, not where you're lying or trying to deceive somebody else.
Or you are just acting on emotion. As much as you love a person, you should also take decision using not just your heart, but your heart and your head.
Okay. Now, hepatitis. You screen, and the person you want to marry has hepatitis B.
I don't know. I'm not a medical person, but I understand that some of these things are treatable. So I think the person should look for, you should, like we said, get expert opinion on this matter. Can you find treatment? How is the treatment done? What should be done? Should you go ahead with the wedding before the treatment? Should you do the treatment before the wedding? All of these things are things you need to discuss, not just to jump into something because you love somebody and then, you know, you go and buy yourself trouble. So get expert opinion.
Because hepatitis B can be sexually transmitted. But as she said, it can also be treated. So you need to be sure that your partner is seeking treatment and getting treatment. And then you also go get the information that you need also from the healthcare provider. And I also want to use this opportunity to all of us watching, please make sure that you have screened for hepatitis B. Everybody go screen for hepatitis B. And if you are negative, go and get the immunization. Go and get the vaccine. Get the vaccine. The vaccine is available. 3 shots of the vaccine is available in the EPID unit. I think we have it in Youth. I don't know about some other hospitals.
They have it
Yes.
in the university.
In the University Health
Center,
University of Just Health Center. So please, everybody go out and screen for hepatitis B. The problem with hepatitis B is that, and hepatitis C too, they are all risk factors for having cancers. So when you mix it with one other or 2 health issues, cancer is staring you in the face. And you can avoid this thing by going to take hepatitis B vaccine. please go take the vaccine. And if you are positive, please get appropriate care. See a specialist. And a specialist is a physician. They are called gastroenterologists. They will test you and tell you whether you need treatment. And if you need treatment, they will tell you the drugs you need to take. Some people do not need drugs. They just need to be followed up. Please go get treated and do the right thing, so that something that is avoidable is not what will come and kill you. I know we all die one day.
I think there's
but
another aspect to it, like a lot of Christians spiritualize some of these things, and it has led to the death of some that I know. I used to know someone, she's late now, she had HIV, and she was on drugs, on the antiretroviral drug, and she was doing okay. We didn't even know, except a few of us who were close to her. Many people did not know. Until she went for a meeting and came back and said she got healing. Okay, when she came up with that story, myself and a few other persons and our pastor's wife then, who is a medical person, told her, okay, we were not saying God cannot heal you.
Of course.
It is possible, but can you go and get tested and be sure that this healing has actually taken place? She said going to test means lack of faith until she became full-blown AIDS. So when she became AIDS, there was nothing that could be done. And you know, she suffered, she lost her sight, she lost her speech, she lost her mobility, she kept degenerating until she died. So I think that even if you want to spiritualize this matter, can you ask for expert opinion? Even if you have prayed and you feel that you are sure that you have gotten well, go to the doctor and still be assessed. And let the doctor give you.
He told the leper to go see the priest to confirm.
Yes, go for checking.
If Jesus doesn't do secret things. Huh? He says he's God of wonders. He's a God of wonders. So when he does wonders, his wonders are not hidden things. So when God has healed you, it will be apparent to all. It won't be apparent to only a secret few. We will all see that God has healed you. Yes. So that's for, we've talked about hepatitis, we've talked about HIV. Now, genotype, your blood group. No, not blood group, genotype. Whether you're SS, AS, or AA. So people, these are some of the tests that they are asked to do before wedding. And if you are AS, and you meet somebody who is also AS, or you meet somebody who is SS, it means that your chances of having children that are C-class is high. And is it really worth it?
I think you need to, you know, some persons, if you think you are really in love, like you guys always claim that love is shocking you, if you think that you are really in love and this love is shocking you very well, so make up your mind, maybe after the wedding not to have children. Wow. Maybe you adopt children, or you stay loving yourself. She is love that pushed you inside. You stay loving yourself, childless.
They'll still try having
But
kids.
if you are thinking of having children, I do not see the point of bringing children to suffer. I do not see it. So this issue of AS is something that we really have to look into. I've seen a situation where the girl or the boy will say, if you don't marry me, I'm going to die. If you don't marry me, you are still going to die eventually now. Whether I marry you or not, you are still going to die. So let me not be the cause of your death. Because when you begin to have children who are C-class, you are not just a problem to yourself, you are a problem to the church, you are a problem to people around you. Because sometimes if you see what these children go through and the kind of money that is spent in taking care of them, it is not going to be easy. It's a different ball game when people didn't know about these things and they went into it only to find out this is what happened. But now that we have enough knowledge, why will you by yourself push yourself inside fire only for you to say you are praying? That prayer you want to pray, let God pray it for you to have sense before you start going inside. I think that the love that you have, Walter Trubbish used to say that love is a feeling to be learned. And you need to learn, to really learn about love. Don't love with your heart alone. That's what I tell young people. A lot of time, this love of the heart can be deceptive.
Yes,
so please, this love of the heart, It is important, but you need to love with your head. Head helps you to reason. Head helps you to have sense, to look at it again.
And look at it from
all
outside
angles.
angles.
You know, so loving someone is a heart thing, but the head is the one that gives, you know, a clothing to the feeling of the heart, so that you don't make mistake and leave all of us. Now you become a prayer point to all of us. We'll now be praying every day.
And the stress of caring for a child
with sickle cell.
with any chronic health condition can put a strain on any marriage.
Yeah, it can.
Put a strain on any marriage. I know, yes, God is with us, God will see us through, but I think problems we can avoid. I would say let's avoid. But some people may say, where is God in all this? What if it's God who is leading you to marry this person? Well, if it's God who is leading you, once people bring God into a matter, it's difficult to talk again. But let it be, if it's God, let it truly be God.
Sure.
Let it truly
be. Use your head.
It's God that is telling you.
Be sure that it is God that is actually leading.
But ahead of time, I'll just say, look, for everybody, go do your genotype. Know your genotype. And if you meet somebody that you feel that there's a chance that something may come out, ask the other person the person's genotype. What's your genotype? There's nothing wrong in asking. And if the person says also AS, it's time to give the person,
it's not that you people become enemy. You can still be friends, but just know that issue of marriage may not be too good.
Yeah, because once emotions are involved, it becomes very difficult to take a rational decision. So I think early enough, once you say, okay, I like this girl, what's your genotype? Let her tell you, and you know whether it's something you want to do or don't want to do. Not when your emotions are then as she says, your brain is no more working properly, so that you don't take actions that you later regret. That's our take on that. I think, is there any other medical thing that we have not talked about?
I was told that this issue of even the blood group too, we should be aware in preparation, because of people with rhesus negative, rhesus positive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you should be aware of some of these things so that you prepare yourself ahead. That of rhesus, I think it is a condition that can be managed.
Yeah, so you need to know your blood group, whether you're whatever, O, A, B, negative or positive. And the rhesus group is when you're rhesus negative. That's usually the one that gives problems. And the other person, especially for the women, if you're rhesus negative and you marry a man who is rhesus positive, there's a chance that your children could follow after your husband to also be rhesus positive. Then what it means is that your system has a mechanism to attack rhesus positive, any rhesus positive blood that comes to you. So even the child, your system has a way of attacking. So that's why we ask those who are rhesus negative, when they have babies, we immediately test the babies. And if the baby is positive, we ask that the woman takes the RhoGAM injection to quell that immunological reaction. And well, RhoGAM now, it's becoming more and more expensive.
Last time I checked, it was 20,000.
They say it's more than that now. It's 30 heading towards 50. So you need to take that injection. So please, if you are rhesus negative, be aware of it, especially for the women, and be sure that the proper care is taken. So that means if you are pregnant, you are going for antenatal care, you need to go to the right place. It's not any roadside, anybody you go for antenatal. You go to the right place so that they give you the right care, they follow you up properly and give you the right treatment that needs to be done to prevent future occurrence of problems from being rhesus negative. I think in a nutshell, that's it. Yeah. So, other preparations. I think, is there any, I don't think there's any medical thing with.
I don't think so. It's just the medical things that needs to be taken care of.
But yes, I just remembered. Now, if you also have health issues, aside from these ones we have mentioned, you should let the person.
I don't know why you want to marry someone and you are hiding a particular medical condition from the person.
People are afraid that if you tell the person may decide to leave you
But
not
if
marry
the
you.
person marries you and gets to know, it's even worse.
Yeah, because it's like
It's,
betrayal.
it's a betrayal. And there are some others who even have children and they hide it from the person they are getting married
That's
to.
terrible.
You know, I have heard of situation where a lady has 2 children and then she got
I know
married.
somebody like that. The
Yeah,
guy, and
she
the guy
got
was coming
married.
to the house and seeing the kids. but
Yes,
he
and
just
she
didn't
no,
occur to him.
she even told this one told the guy that it's her sister's children,
Can you imagine?
her late sister's children, because a sister actually died, so they brand it the late sister's children. So the guy saw them as the late sister's children, but she was doing the upkeeping while she was there along with her mother. So I think when she got married, it's like she started having her own children, and the upkeeping thing slowed down, and the mother could not manage it, so the mother had to speak up, and it brought a strain into their marriage. If you tell the man if he's interested in you, he will still get married to you.
There are
He's
men.
not.
There are men or women who have married people who have had kids before.
Yes.
So I think you should come clean.
Yeah.
I don't think you should start a marriage with lies and pretense. If you've had kids, please say you've had kids. If you've had a surgery, please say you have had
it,
surgery.
yeah.
Especially surgeries that may have long,
If
far-reaching implications, effects, and then we're running around pretending that
pretending
we're
that
everything is okay.
Some persons have had issues, medical issues, maybe with their wombs or something has happened, and they keep such information, and then they come into marriage, and the husband and wife, they are running from church to church, they are praying, they are seeking
Meanwhile, you know
medical,
what the problem
and
is.
the woman know that this is the problem. I think it is just not
Or
right.
the man knows what
Yes,
the problem
what
is.
the problem is.
I
It's
think
not
I think
just
you
right.
shouldn't.
You should let your
Yeah,
the
you should
person
put
you-
everything on the table, and if the person is okay with it, fine, we go on.
So
So
marriage is for life.
yes, so if you've had surgeries before, please say it. If you have health challenges, please say it. Don't pretend. Say what the health challenges are. And if the person is willing to go ahead, it's not just HIV, but hypertension, diabetes, whatever health challenge. And then there are some that are not even very common that people don't know so much about. Put it on the table. And for the person getting married, even if the person tells you, don't just say, oh, it's okay, I love you. Find out
What
the
does
implications.
implication
Yes.
of this?
I know somebody that the groom died on his wedding day. The groom died on his wedding day because he had some health challenges, and the girl knew the health challenges, but she didn't tell her people because she had people who were medical people, and she didn't tell them what the problem was. And following the stress of the wedding and all that, on the wedding day, the pastors too need to also inform themselves. He started, becoming weak. What he had was myasthenia gravis, something with some complicated illness that you need drugs and all that. So the stress of the wedding, I think, worsened the condition, and he became weak. Even to take his vows, he had to sit down, and they were taking the vows. But the doctors in the house who knew what was, saw what was going on, were now saying, look, this guy needs help. We need to take him to the hospital. The pastor said, no, it's spiritual attack. They started praying. All sorts of things were going on that day. Bottom line, the guy died that day. He died on his wedding day. For something that had a treatment. There was treatment for it. He could have been taken to hospital and the drug started. But everybody was spiritualizing everything. By the time they finally decided to take him to hospital and all that, it was late. So, well, let's talk about our health challenges and what we'll do. Anyway, viewers, we will go on break. And then when we come back, our phone lines will put there. And you can ask questions, calling, contribute to the conversation. You've been very quiet in recent times, so we want to hear your voice. So we're going on break, and we'll see you. We've been talking about preparing for marriage, and we've talked about health issues now. So please let nobody say they have not heard. So when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. So see you after the break.
The mandate of reaching out to the world with the message of salvation and truth is a zeal that has consumed us. Echo Television International is live 24/7, reaching out to the unreached with undiluted message of hope through its programming.
You can be part of what God is using us to do by praying for Echo TV and supporting Echo TV. Keep watching Equa Television International.
We are a Christian station with the driving force and mandate to reach out to the world with the gospel of salvation and truth through programming and soul-lifting events.
You can join on this mandate. Let's spread the gospel of truth and salvation to the world. Pray for Equa Television. Support Equa Television. Keep watching Equa Television.
Sharing with the world the message of truth to help people come to the saving knowledge of our Lord and King, Jesus Christ, as well as find solace in Him.
From sermon, theology, undiluted biblical principles to Christian music and drama that aims to give hope, peace, strength, happiness, as well as strengthen the faith of those who diligently seek Jesus Christ.
Welcome viewers, welcome back from the break. We're right here at the living room on Equa Television. We've been talking about preparing for marriage. We've talked about it for like 6 episodes now. And today we've concentrated on health issues before getting married, and the fact that you shouldn't hide anything from your proposed spouse. If you have any health challenge, let him or her know. If you've had surgeries before, let him or her know. And if the person is going to marry you, is going to marry you. So I've been here with Mrs. Namu having this conversation, and while we were on break, another dear sister of ours joined us and she will join in the conversation. Priscilla Thor, she's here with us again. Priscilla, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've been talking about preparing for marriage. So we've talked about health issues, and then we want to pick out all the other things we may not have talked about, or the things we need to reinforce again in preparing for marriage. One of the things we've tried to raise is the fact that we shouldn't break a bank. Plan your wedding based on your pocket. Yes, plan your wedding on your pocket. And I think one of the other times we also talked about making sure we're decent, dress decently, do things that will glorify Jesus. So Priscilla, you're just coming today. So we want you to say 1 or 2 things about what you think is very important for couples who are preparing to get married.
Okay, I think one of the major things that I think couples should consider is the fact that they need to live after the celebration. They need, especially finances, because
so life goes on after the wedding. The real marriage starts.
Yes, because I discovered that money causes tension, especially when there's lack of money. It causes tension in the home. So if couples now decide to use the whole of their money and even borrow for celebration that is just one day, then life begins, and you are now looking at each other.
And that love will not solve hunger.
It will not solve. And sometimes you start blaming each other. You were the one that said we should buy this one. You were the one for the money, for lack of money. I don't have money now. I had to spend it on this and that. And it can create tension. And that's like the beginning of the staying together.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that insight. Viewers, just to remind you, please, our phone line is on the screen, so please feel free to call in to make your contributions, and you can also post comments on our Facebook page. We'll get back to you on that. Okay, Mrs. Namu, what are the other bunnies? You know, she has been warning us on this series about not doing nonsense in planning for wedding. Yes.
You know this issue of weddings and wedding dress is one of the things we're looking at the last time, and I feel like we didn't even finish with it. People dress like they are going for parties, the kinds of dresses, wedding gowns that people. In fact, sometimes I feel like telling the seamstress that, come, what is these things you're sewing? You
It's what the customers are
you
asking
sew things that, you know,
revealing.
this is a bride, and I don't think a bride is for everyone. A bride belongs to a groom, and I think that everything that is in the bride's body is for the groom. So if the bride comes to a wedding and the whole of the things that is supposed to belong to the groom is outside, what kind of bride is that? You know, so I think that we should still emphasize the fact that wedding dresses, you should be careful what kind of wedding dresses.
And chief bridesmaids,
and
not
your
just
bridesmaids.
not just.
In fact, I think the type of bridesmaids you select will determine the kind of dresses they will be wearing on your wedding day. People wear clothes that. Is it like you want to seduce the men that are there? Are you trying to find a...
But people have said, you know, when you talk about this dressing issue, people say men should learn to control themselves. You know, that, yes, I agree that everybody, self-control is a fruit of the spirit.
Yeah.
Everybody should learn self-control, but you shouldn't also deliberately be causing
Expose
problem
yourself.
for people.
For me,
now.
I think it's not even about the self-control. It's about the fact that what exactly am I trying to portray by leaving myself half naked?
Hey, fine girl.
What am I selling? What am I giving out? You know, if I leave myself half naked, even if everybody is self-controlled in the room, what about myself? What exactly is the point of?
And how are you representing
Hell,
Jesus?
is it okay for me to just dress anyhow just because I have made up my mind that men should control themselves? You know, so I think we should just go back inside and think about what we want to do, especially for weddings, because wedding is an open place. All kinds of persons come to a
Now,
wedding.
some weddings, even me, I can't look at some of the bridal
of the
trim.
brides,
When I see
yeah.
them, I just avert my gaze because the things are too much for me. So Priscilla, why are young girls? Why are we dressed? Because see men, when they dress,
They
they come
wear
up
the
from
suit, they wear the shirt.
it's only their head and their hand
Yeah.
that is showing.
That
Then you that even has more things to hide, everything is outside. So what is the problem?
I don't really understand. I would say maybe for the brides, the bridesmaids, maybe some of them are coming there to be noticed.
Ha.
But for the bride, you are already
Notice.
noticed. You've already been engaged. You've already been found. So I don't understand why. I remember a story. Someone told me that one bride was, she bent to sign register, and
everything came out.
everything.
The breast all
Yes,
came out.
it came out. In fact, that I think can cause problem in a marriage, because the man, how would he feel? How would the groom feel? That in itself can cause argument when they maybe at the end of everything.
That's
when
so embarrassing.
it's
Very embarrassing.
I
Maybe
couldn't
another
just-
way to look at it is the groom. Is it possible for you to see the gown that your bride is going to wear? Because they usually say, no, it's better to see her on that day with the gown. Please,
But-
can
but-
I
but-
say
but-
I want to see it?
But that's why some churches say pastor's wife has to inspect your clothes.
your clothes.
Or,
Yes,
An elderly woman in the church.
the counseling, the people who counsel you are supposed
See the
see
are supposed
the
to see
dress.
the dress before the wedding.
You know the other side of this story is the fact that the one you inspected they will use in church. They
The
have
reception.
another one for the
For
reception that
reception,
nobody is inspecting.
yes, but anyway, I feel it all depends on who the bride is or who the friends are.
Yeah.
I cannot say I truly love Jesus. I am truly a Christian and expose myself like that, knowing
Because your
that
body is the temple of
yes,
the living God. You
yes.
can't expose it anymore.
So if you are hiding, and going you hide yourself in the church and move out and change into a different dress outside. I don't see the Christianity there. I don't see you being, professing what you, practicing what you profess. Because if you want to cover yourself in church alone, I don't see you being a straightforward human being. And I don't see you being faithful even in marriage if you cannot maintain one lane in even your wedding ceremony.
And the other thing I just want to raise is the fact that you want Jesus to bless you. You want Jesus to be part, in quotes, of your marriage, if really that's what you want. But you will not agree to honor him. So why do you want him to come in? So if you want Jesus, then you must be ready to come to take the whole package of Jesus. You can't do part of Jesus. Jesus bless me, but I'll live my life the way I want. The Bible says that if you love me, you keep my commandments. That's what the word of God says. If you love me, you keep my commandments. Anybody who loves Jesus will do things that will please Jesus. Yes. It will be your desire to please him and to do the things that will honor him. But if you are doing, some time ago I was talking to I said, this clothes, some young people, this clothes, me, was I not once young? I said I was once young, but I never dressed like this. Exactly. I never dressed. They said they want to, they want to follow the trend. They want to be fashionable. I said, look, you can be decent
your own fashion
and be fashionable. You don't have to follow people.
Exactly.
You can create your own brand, your own style, which honors Jesus, and it still look nice. You don't have to be naked to be nice now. Exactly. I've seen many people who cover themselves very well, and they really look very nice.
Nicely, very nice.
Yes.
So I don't know.
So that's dressing. I think we've talked about these things. Those who want to hear, they will hear. Those who don't want to hear.
We raised an issue about getting married and then still living with your parents.
Oh, that's also an issue.
I think maybe
now
you should make some.
Hello. Hello.
I understand.
Somebody, hold on. Somebody's calling. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you. Please speak up.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
I'm Christiana.
Oh, sorry, ma. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm Christiana from Benue State.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. The issue of this hate we're talking about.
Yes.
There was one young guy like that got married without telling his wife about he was epilepsy. And after the marriage, I think a week to the traditional marriage, this guy fell and had a wound, and he said it was accident. But then, after the wedding in the church, not up to 6 months, the marriage broke. What happened? She said she never knew that the guy is having epilepsy because she has known it. She's not happy that it's contagious.
Epilepsy is not contagious, but I guess
I think
he should have told her.
To him, but he never told her. That's in break up that marriage today. And the man, you see, that kind of thing is what I just say. What's about epilepsy?
Okay. Well, as we said, thank you so much, Christiana. As we've said, we must tell the person we're getting married to the health challenges that we have. Epilepsy has its own associated issues, let me put it like that come with having the disease. But it's not a contagious disease. That I'm around somebody who has epilepsy doesn't mean that I'm going to have epilepsy, or I touch somebody who has epilepsy, I'm not going to get epilepsy. However, living with somebody who has epilepsy has its own challenges. And one of the things with people who have epilepsy, they are not supposed to drive. They are not supposed to operate heavy machinery because they could have an attack at any time. And once they have an attack, they lose it. They lose it. They are no more in control of themselves and their environment. And so they can wreak a lot of damage to themselves and to the people around. I know somebody, I didn't know, I knew him from a distance because we went to the same university. But he had epilepsy and he was a member of Bikers Club. which he shouldn't be. He shouldn't do those. He shouldn't ride a bike. So on one of those their trips, I think he had an epileptic fit, and he ran under a trailer. That's they said the trailer finished him. The trailer finished. It was death on impact. He didn't survive it. Not to talk of going to the hospital. So yes, it's not contagious. Those who are on treatment and their drugs, their convulsions are controlled. But there are some things they shouldn't do. That includes driving, operating heavy machinery. So if you have epilepsy, you're getting married, you should let the other person know, so that
I think that's the bottom.
yeah, so that he or she knows what they are dealing with, and they can also help you to circumvent some of the problems associated with you know. So if you have an attack, you start convulsing, they know what to do. They know how to help you. They know what to take you away from, and they will also be like your support system to encourage you to be taking your drugs, to go for follow-up and all that. So if you have health challenges, including epilepsy, please let the person know.
And you know, when the person know, the person will be working with you from an informed position. The person know everything about you, so the person will be able to even speak for you wherever he or she is. But if she doesn't know, and you know, like she said, just maybe a month after, and you are sitting in the house and your husband is just conversing, what is the problem? What happened? How did this happen? Only for you, you know. And when you know that kind of a thing, you go to medical people, let them give you information so that you know what you are dealing with.
Yes. I know sometimes some of these people with health challenges are afraid of losing their spouses. But if that person, I believe if that person is really out for you, love is not just something you profess with your mouth. If that person really loves you, that person will stick with you through in sickness and in health. I remember I had a colleague that knew her husband had hearing problem, and she helped him. She even went for training on how to communicate, sign language training, and they had to change church. There's this Equa church around, I think, Jankwano. They have, yes, they also have the service for hearing impaired people, and she was part of that. She's been up till now. She's been part of the church because she chose to go with him. So that didn't stop her from agreeing to marry him, even after knowing that there was a problem and it's affecting him. As time goes on, he keeps losing. It was getting worse and worse. They are still together. This is like, I think, 6 years or so they've been together, and they are still together.
So if you put all the cards on the table, somebody who really loves you will still be there with you. If the person doesn't, it's fine. It's not a death sentence. Yes, it means that, well, there's somebody else for you out there. Go look. You'll find the person with time. Sorry, before the person called in, Priscilla, you were saying something.
About living with
your parents.
Oh yes. That's one thing I noticed happening recently to some. I've not seen a lot anyway, but I've seen like 2 or 3 cases, and it's understandable if probably your spouse is no longer where you are, and you like feel
out of town.
Yes, out of town. And you feel probably the house you are is a rented apartment, and you feel because of financial constraint you pack back to your parents. It's to me is understandable, but for you to leave your husband and
you're getting married.
You are married.
You're living with your parents. You know, maybe in a compound. Each person has his own house. You have your own room in that compound, and then you go and marry and bring her to that compound.
That I think is like a tension in itself in marriage. Yes, it's accident about happening. That's just it. You can be sure it will happen. Definitely.
Hello?
Already, okay.
Somebody, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I am calling from Crossfire State.
Okay, what's your name, please, sir?
Yeah, my name is Austin. I'm calling from Crossbody.
Okay, Austin. All right. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I'm very interested on this health talk. Yeah. I got married 2 years ago. Yeah, and before I got married to my wife, I was on a 22 years courtship with my wife.
22.
Yeah. And before I got married to her, I was too useful to all her dressing, the way she behaves and all that. And even up to the day she got married, I still stood by my side and said that her dressing should just be the same. Just like what you were saying, that a lot of persons allow their wives to look upset when you're getting married. It doesn't entice some men like me because it doesn't look fine. It does not look anything Christ-like. Because when we talk about Christ-like children, you should look, even on your wedding day, you're not supposed to expose all those things you feel like, giving, changing up and down. It doesn't look anything. Do you understand me? Yeah. And even the way I even look, Mama, the way you appeared is the way I like my wife appeared.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like my wife appearing the way. You understand? Even when I take her out, I'm always proud of my wife because everything about her is so unique and I like that. So looking at you, I just feel that it's like as if I'm seeing my wife. You understand? So for those who allow their wife to expose their nakedness, feeling that want your wife to be the most beautiful girl, it's nonsense to some of us. So it doesn't go well. So for some men to say they want to show the world wife is too beautiful, all her things, exposing your wife, your main property to other persons, it doesn't all go well. So that's my conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Austin. Austin has told us that please don't expose your main property to the public. The property is for you.
It's for you, that your main property. Quite.
So Priscilla, back to you. We're talking about living with parents.
Yes, because even living just the two of you, there's bound to be extra people coming with you. I remember when we were getting married, when we were being counseled, we were told with his younger ones. Okay. So we were told, our counselor told us to at least let go any other person living with us. He had to speak to my husband that at least let those your brothers give you 1 year to bond with your wife before they come back. And I remember where I was living, we now continue the rent for them. They moved in where I was living when and that was even okay for them because it was close to their school. So it was okay. Even with that, it was still, because that stage of getting to know ourselves, it was not really easy. So I was, at some point I would be wondering, what if these people were still here? And there are some times that we will have to call them weekends to help us do 1 or 2 things. Then I will not be free. Some clothes I cannot come out with to the parlor and all that, and it felt somehow at some point. So I will be wondering, what if they are permanently living with us? How would I have coped? And then there are times that they will be around. I will need my husband's attention, but because he's so into them, they've been together for a long time. And again, another thing is, it was the language. I was not understanding the language they were speaking, so I couldn't just join in the conversation. So it was becoming a problem.
So people couples should get out of family and be together, at least to bond.
Yes.
Instead of having distractions of families. Okay.
So, like we've been saying that, when a man says he's old enough to get married, the first sign of your being of age is to get out. Because that's what the Bible says. He said, a man shall live. And over I've said, why is it that the Bible didn't say a woman shall live? He said the man, because I think that already the woman is going to live. They know of that. So it is worst when you hear that a man married a girl and is living in the girl's house or in the girl family's house. Nobody terrible. Wants to hear that. It's even terrible. So for the man, it is even an instruction from God directly when he created the man and the woman. Say, therefore, a man shall live and cleave to his wife, and the two of them shall. So, still living with your parents and planning to get married is just out of it.
I know sometimes, yes, it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to leave their comfort zone. You know, it's very comfortable. Mommy has been cooking for you all these years. Daddy gives you money from time to time. But for goodness sake, if you've decided to be a man, then be a man. Because it brings respect. Once you leave your parents' house, you find out the way your parents talk to you, even before you marry, the way your parents talk to you is different. Their approach to you is different. Yes. And then when you talk, people listen. But if you are where your father is still paying your bills, then even when you talk, say, who talk, John, that's reasonable people talk. Then nobody will take your words seriously. So you need to take the stand, take the bull by the horn, and do what men do. Go and form your own home. And God will help you. Yes. Because God will back up his word by what he has said, that you need to, you know, go out and leave your parents. They may cry, they may be angry. I've heard of parents getting angry when the boys are moving. Hey, after all, we have enough room here. Don't listen to your parents. So in that one, you can disobey them very well. In fact, God will not be angry with you.
This one is not even a parent. It's like an auntie. The guy has been living with them. So he said, okay, since you don't want to live with us in the main house, take the boys' quarter and live there. And the man was comfortable. I told him, leave.
And sometimes they're asking you to stay.
Leave.
It's for selfish reasons.
Yes. Leave.
They want you available to be the handyman.
Yes.
Somebody they will send. Somebody will go and buy gas when they need gas. Somebody will go and buy NEPA. Bill for them. Somebody, the handyman, if something spoils, they will call you. So they too don't want they don't want discomfort. But you have to do it. You have to go.
Leave.
You have to go.
And you know, if you are still staying with them, if your wife has a need and they have a need, you will now be looking for how to prioritize this need. Sometimes you will discover that you have to discomfort your wife just to please the people that you are living with. But if you are living on your own with your wife, you know it's your wife's needs you'll be attending to. So I think that living is very important.
And there are things that you've been doing to them when you stop them because you want to attend to your wife. They will now start looking at your wife.
Your wife is wicked. She has bewitched you. She has turned your face away from them and things like that.
So please, we are reiterating the fact again. Guys, leave. Nothing good, in quotes, comes easy. Anything you need to do, adulting, as they say, is not easy.
It's not easy.
So but you will do it, and the Lord will back you up and will help you. But you need to leave. Please don't bring somebody's daughter into your father's house. You say you're married. And I don't even know how the girls agree. Girls don't agree too. And me as a parent, I will not allow my daughter
to marry
somebody who is still living in
his father's house.
A dependent person.
I'm telling you, a dependent husband. You are not serious yet. When you are serious, we see it by your actions.
You know, the other side of it is, especially when, there's a young man that the father died, and the mother now is widow, and they have a big house. There are other people living in the house. So there are some extra rooms. So he now said that the son should pack back to the family house. The son said, look for tenants for that house. But I need to be with my wife. I can't pack back to that house.
Because as Priscilla said, that's trouble.
Yes. So the guy went and looked for tenants and put them in. He said, you want people to live with you, see tenants, let them live with you. Me, I'm going to go and live with. And that I think that's the best thing to do. You can't go back, pack your family, say go back and live with your parents because your father has died. Now want to take your wife.
You have to form your
own family.
Yes. In fact, you have set boundaries already. But in the house, you keep setting boundaries every day.
Yes,
breaking them.
Because you're not in charge.
Yes.
You're not in charge. It's not your house. So you have to play
by the rules
of the
house.
person that owns the house. So viewers, we've talked a lot about preparing for marriage, and remember, we've told you that is not the wedding that is the cocoa of the matter. It's not the main matter. It's the marriage that is the issue. So you must do all you can to make sure you put things in place for your marriage to work. It's not just wedding day, marriage to work. And remember, God says marriage is for life. Till death do us part. That is it. That's the standard. So please, don't set yourself up for failure before the journey has even started. So let's plan for our marriage and do what needs to be done. Today we've talked about health issues. We've talked about moving, living, so that you can cleave properly. And what was one?
Dresses.
And then we've talked about dressing. Please, especially the girls. Not that we're picking on girls alone, but ladies, let's dress in a way that will honor Jesus, a way that will reflect Jesus. Tomorrow, when you are preaching to somebody that Jesus loves you, you need to give your life to Christ, they will listen to you. Not Jesus will say, you know, as if you are not a serious person, because they've not seen you as a serious person. Priscilla has said we should walk the talk. Abi, walk the talk. What you profess, show it by your lifestyle. So viewers, thank you for all those who called in. Christiana, Austin, thank you so much for calling in. And if you have more comments, please put it on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for sitting with us and not changing that dial. So till we come your way again next week at the living room, Equa Television. God bless you. Priscilla, IB, thank you so much for being here and for adding to this conversation. God bless us all, and may we continue to live to honor Jesus. Till we see you next time. Bye. Bye.